Thank you very much. Good evening. I must introduce myself. I am the bonsai Steve Vizard. Actually, I'll be honest with you, I was a wee bit nervous, as I walked on first, but it was quite encouraging, because as I walked on, a lady over here on the right said, "Doesn't he remind you of Clint Eastwood?" Just sitting over there, sipping the metal polish. Ah, well, it's wonderful. It's wonderful, actually, to leave a cold, miserable place like England and come to a warm, miserable place like Australia. That's it. Economic troubles abound, don't they, really? Paul Keating, I heard on the news tonight saying, "We are not in recession," he said. Yes. He also said that he'd bumped into Elvis at the deli counter at Coles. I do not, however, intend to do any political jokes tonight, because I'm being a guest in the country, and apart from that, I'm not a member of any organised political party. I'm a liberal. I'm hoping to do. That's the second reason I shouldn't have done any political jokes. Anyway, I am hoping to do something, and I'll tell you what in a minute. I'm hoping. I knew I was hoping to do something. You may be wondering what I'm talking about. Well, you may not be wondering about that at all. You may be wondering, is it true that Mickey Mouse wears a Ronnie Corbett watch? You may be wondering. Anyway, I'm hoping to do a Two Ronnies show while I'm here, but Ron Barassi will not return my calls. Now, I've actually come out here to help to support the English Ashes team. And, well, did anyone see which way they went? I heard that they left the country in raincoats and false beards. I've also heard that Graham Gooch intends to give up first-class cricket. He does, however, hope to remain captain of England. Now, we're having a bit of a cold snap in England at the moment, so I don't have to worry personally, because if I want a tan, I don't bother about sunbeds. I just jump in the pop-up toaster. But fortunately, I've got excuse my laughing. It's the first time I've heard that one. It is rather good. Fortunately, I have got a time-honoured system that works on these occasions. When we get a cold snap at home, the electric blanket is on the blink. I get my wife's hairdryer, and I plug it in and turn it up to full blow, and under the bedclothes with it. Wonderful. Tried it the other night, worked a treat. Warm as toast. Woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, ballooning over Manchester. Now, I have... Quite exciting. Actually, I've noticed... it's quite exciting, because last week, you may be interested to know, or you may not be... It's none of my business, if you are interested. But anyway, I went to Ronald Reagan's birthday party, which was very nice. I stood in the middle of the cake holding a sparkler. Now we have got... I've just noticed rather a subtle edit's gone on here, because I haven't mentioned that I'm actually in Melbourne to appear at the Hilton Hotel, which is rather... yes. A little bit of discreet editing went on while I was having a cup of coffee. No, and I'm very happy to be there. It's a beautifully run hotel. Last week they sacked a waiter for being caught with his thumb in the soup, and a topless waitress for 2 similar offences. But anyway, we have got some great guests for you tonight to meet. We were hoping to be joined by John Squibb, the Human Torch, but unfortunately he's gone out for the evening. We will, however, that's all you deserve. We will, however, be meeting the one and only Victor Borg, and... he'll be chatting to us and performing, and now it's my very great pleasure to introduce you the Queen of the Newsbeat, Jennifer Kite.
Thanks, Ronnie. Good evening, everyone. The government will be on the defensive when federal parliament resumes tomorrow, adding to its economic woes the massive loss of another Labour-controlled state bank and the failure of the wool price support scheme.
The government finally succumbed today. After months of battling to keep the wool industry's reserve price scheme afloat, it accepted the inevitable, that billions of dollars of debt and mountains of wool were simply too high a price to pay.
You just cannot go on and on and on guaranteeing billions of taxpayers' funds, knowing that you're going to head into a situation that the industry can never crawl out of.
Also struggling under billion-dollar debts, the South Australian government, forced to bail out its state bank. It was getting no sympathy from Federal Treasurer Paul Keating. The bank's losses, Mr Keating said, were simply inexcusable.
I think anyone who loses $1 billion, or any bank board that loses $1 billion, has got it way, way wrong.
Federal opposition leader John Hewson agrees, as he and Prime Minister Hawke engaged in a rare display of bipartisanship tonight at an international trade promotion in Canberra. The real interest here was centring on tomorrow's events, the resumption of federal parliament and the resumption of the economic debate between the government and the opposition.
To the Gulf War now, and a decision on when to launch the ground assault against Iraqi forces in Kuwait is likely to be made in the next 12 hours. But Saddam Hussein has told his people that in the eyes of God, they have already won the war. In his second address to the nation since the conflict started, Saddam showed no sign of buckling under the pressure of an imminent Allied ground offensive.
Saddam Hussein said, "We have entered the 4th week of this aggression, and with every day and every hour, the Iraqis hold more strongly to what they believe in."
The timing of the ground war and what sort of offensive it will come after the President has been briefed by Defence Secretary Dick Cheney and Military Chief General Colin Powell. They returned to Washington today after hearing the views of commanders in the field. On his way home, Secretary Cheney said the next stage of the war will be decisive but no pushover.
We did not assume the air campaign would be easy, and we don't want to assume that the next phase, the ground campaign, would be easy either. That's not a safe assumption upon which to plan.
In Western Australia, authorities are concerned at the way a remote Aboriginal community spent its $128,000 tax refund on a 5-day drinking binge. Walloona is a lonely spot on the edge of the Simpson Desert, 1,000 kilometres north of Perth. It's a small community of 300 people who run their own successful business enterprise, including emu farming. Last week, the community's collective tax refund arrived, $128,000. Today, 5 days later, the money is gone. Most of it over the bar or bottle store of the town's only pub.
They got nothing to live for, just a local hotel. Their culture's down the drain at the moment. It's down the drain.
Perhaps ironically, the community has been considering another investment, buying the pub. New South Wales police hold grave fears for the safety of a baby boy abducted from his home 5 days ago. They say he is unwell and needs medical attention. Little Nathan Schaefer was snatched from his cot sometime on Wednesday night. 5 days later, his mother is frantic.
I've had no sleep since he's been gone. I keep looking at his cot in the bedroom where he was taken. I keep thinking and praying that he'll come home.
Forbes police believe a 15-year-old girl who stayed at the Schaefer home on the night of the abduction may be able to help. Tomorrow is Nathan's first birthday. Self-proclaimed anti-nuclear campaigner John Dixon Jenkins pleaded guilty today to 7 counts of kidnap relating to a siege at the Bendigo prison in 1987. He described the siege, in which he was armed with a gun and a homemade bomb, as dumb, and recommended he be sentenced to 1 million hours community service. In court in Brisbane today, one of Queensland's 10 most wanted criminals, Bart Vosmeyer, a convicted armed robber, has escaped from prison twice in the past 2 years. Today, he again showed his dislike of captivity.
I want life to live.
And Ronnie, that's our news tonight.
Thank you very much, Jen. Thank you. Very nice. It's interesting to see that item about the prison, because I see in this morning's paper there was a bit of panic this morning at Pentridge when it was realised that 26 prisoners had put their names down for a picnic lunch. There we are. Thanks. Now we'll be very tough room this, isn't it? We'll be back soon with a young newcomer I'd like you to meet. So see you again. Well, every so often in television, an outstanding new talent emerges. Someone who has that indefinable something that puts him way ahead of the rest. Unfortunately, we don't have anyone like that tonight, but I would like you to put your hands together to welcome someone we just grabbed off the street. Not true at all. Mr. Steve Vizard. Well, it's very lovely to have you on the show, Steve.
It's a great pleasure to be here, bro. It's 5 minutes I didn't have to do.
Tell me the obvious question. You must have been asked this before, I know. Boring, I know. But what does it feel like to be, graced with such height?
In which respect?
In which, I mean, tall.
Tall. It's interesting. Being tall, I just came back on holidays. I went to Ethiopia, actually.
Oh yes.
I did. I went on to do a documentary, and I flew Air Ethiopia, which is arguably, forget the arguably, it's the world's worst airline. And it was very cramped conditions. So the point, they don't actually have seats; they have it's more like pews.
Oh, right.
And people were struggling to get into the toilet, because the seats are more comfortable than the toilet. This is a really, we're talking a really bad airline, and this plane was so old it actually took off from a crouching position.
Stopped to refuel and took on wood. That's
the sort of thing. And no smoking sign came up in Latin.
Yes.
It was a pretty reasonably old plane. But you get cramped.
Yes, right.
Cramped.
Right, but there are advantages, of course, obviously.
None that spring to mind immediately.
Right. Now, you also, I know you've been to Ethiopia and you have been back at work a week.
Yes.
And you had a lovely weekend. The first weekend's election. Did you do something?
I actually went to. I'm glad you asked that, because I went to.
We didn't plan any of this, did we?
No. I went to the newsreader.
You went somewhere.
I did.
Yes.
I went to.
4 times so far.
Where the hell did I go? I went to Jennifer Kite, who was our newsreader, who you introduced before, the queen of the. What is she?
Queen of the Newsbeat.
That's it. She's the Queen of the Newsbeat, as opposed to the floor thing. Went to her place for dinner because she was cooking dinner for me, which you would. And she actually, it was a lovely dinner. But then again, I'm a suckler for mince on toast. But it was good. It was a fabulous dinner, and she whipped up a storm.
Wonderful.
It was
very
great.
nice.
How are you finding Australia?
Wonderful, very lovely, yes. Weather's been beautiful, the wine's lovely, and the grub's lovely, and the audiences are lovely. And
they are, aren't they?
Nice, yes. No, great, really terrific.
Well, what was this trip number for you?
This is trip number 14, really. Yes, about 14 years been coming to Australia. We even had we were over for a year, a complete year once with 2 daughters, went to school in Sydney about 12 years ago, so we feel, quite at home, really. We enjoy it very much.
And what do you do when you're in Australia? What are the things?
Well, do you mean the work from work point of view?
Well, any point of view.
Any point of view. Yeah. Well, most important, I come to work usually to play the clubs and the theatres, and feel free, have a drink.
Thanks.
And I, as I say, play a bit of golf, which is lovely, and then Melbourne famous for its great courses. Eat and drink the wine, travel, see the sun. And,
are you a good golfer?
Not by general standards, but I enjoy it, and I practice hard. Today I had 9 holes, played 5, fell down 4. But I mean, I am. I walked out in my big check cap, the greenkeeper rush. That's these bloody mushrooms early this year. I do. I come from Edinburgh, the home of the game, so it's sort of in my blood. But I'm not really wonderful, but I have great pleasure from it.
Do you have a caddy?
Not usually, no. At home we have more. It's a funny thing, really, about the difference. And I was asking somebody the other day. At home, you can still get boys at the weekends who will carry clubs, to earn a few dollars, a few dollars. Very reactionary, a lot of this, aren't they? But nobody will do that over here. You don't find that over here. That somebody wants to earn a buck to carry.
Not unless they work for a state bank.
No, right. Oh, yes, I know. No, so, but you have carts and things. No, I carry a little pencil bag,
How long did you work with Ronnie Barker for?
Ronnie Barker. Oh, about 22 years we worked together.
Before. Extraordinary association. It would have to be one of the best associations that of any comic duo. I mean, it really was.
Thank you. Well, very kind of you to say that. It was a very happy relationship, and there was some kind of getting together of two people who were not a double act in the same way as people are double acts, but we were probably two character comedians and partly actors and partly a bit of everything, so we could do most of the material that was available to us. Really.
It was exceptional, because in most comic partnerships there's a straight man and a fall guy, but in fact you both did everything.
That's right, and it makes more material available to you, because whatever's written you can sort of do, because there is no set preconceived idea of which roles we should play. And of course that was the benefit of it all, and we got on well together, and we had very similar senses of humour and agreed on what was funny and what wasn't funny, and so it was a very, very happy relationship.
Do you have some good memories of those times?
Well, yes, there's wonderful memories, really. I mean, people often say, funny ones, but Ron and I I suppose, took it so seriously. It was a drawing board venture for us that we sat down and had all the scripts and made them all and edited it all like a magazine and put it together, rather than get up and sort of did much of it. We didn't do anything off the top of our head. But I suppose the loveliest story about the two of us, which may have been heard before, was that Ron wrote a lot of the stuff, and of course in the early stages, and in order not that we wouldn't be prejudiced in choosing his stuff for the awkward position to be put in, he wrote under a pseudonym, and he wrote under this pseudonym Gerald Wiley, and we kept accepting all this excellent material, and I kept saying to Ronnie, this fella, Gerald Wiley, who is he? And he said, well, I don't know. He said, he comes through my agent, Peters, and I think he may be a short story writer or a novelist or a playwright even, who doesn't want his name to be. And it kept turning up more and more amazing stuff. And we made a book on who it might be, and I mean, there were most remarkable writers in the book, Tom Stoppard and Pinter and all sorts of people, because the stuff was such great quality that he wouldn't reveal himself. And then at one stage there was one particularly good sketch which Ron said suited me, and he said, why don't you try to do a deal to buy the rights of it for the stage and the theatre and cabaret and everything. So I did, and I got my agent to ring up, and they came back with a horrendous price, about $5,000 or something. And Ronnie the next day said, did you get on about it? I said, yes, for $5,000. Oh, he said, it's ludicrous price. He said, I wouldn't. I mean, offer them $2,000 and everything. And the next day the agent went back to offer $2,000, and he came back. Then the agent said, well, very nice. Gerald Wiley has very kindly said you can have the worldwide rights for the sketch because of the way you performed it on television for nothing. So I thought, well, that's wonderful. So I went back to Ronnie Barker and said, this Gerald Wiley is a real toff. I mean, he's given me the rights for the sketch. That's nothing. So I have to do something. So I got together, had some cut glass goblets engraved GW, 6. And at the end of the series, we were going to have this Chinese dinner when Gerald Wiley was going to appear, and there was this table set for 24 people, and the one seat was vacant, And in the afternoon in the studio, Ronnie said, I have to tell you that I know who Gerald Wiley is. And I said, oh my God, who is he? He said, it's me. So he walked into the dinner and he had his goblets of Gerald Wiley, and he keeps them forever, because he stopped writing after that under the name of Gerald Wiley. Once he'd blown his cover, he had to write as Ronnie Barker. But it was a wonderful idea, because of course it meant we could choose the material, accept it or turn it down without feeling guilty, really.
How long are you out here for this time, Ronnie?
Out here for another 3 weeks. So I'm in the Hilton the rest of this week. Then I go to Coolangatta, and then to Perth, and then home.
Oh, well, look, I hope you have a fantastic stay. It really is. It's a delight to
well, it's been lovely to meet you, and lovely to sit behind this desk. If a bit fearsome, a bit terrified I was.
Oh, you did a great job, and I think we're going to take a break, but Ronnie, thanks so much for joining us, and come back and join us again, please. I really do appreciate it. Thanks, Ronnie Morgan. lovely bloke, Ronnie Corbett. Lovely, lovely, delightful man. Actually, Ethiopian Airlines is a shocker. You get non-smoking or smoking, and that's just the engines. They actually, at the start of the flight, they pull down the screen for the safety film, and they've obviously got this made up, and they say in the event of a crash, and then I couldn't believe this. I'm sitting there with a guy from World Vision. They say in the event of an aeroplane crash, they roll in news footage of what an aeroplane crash looks like. And you're sitting there. Yeah. They're the only airline that have a frequent crashes club. Oh, fantastic. Food was a bit light on too. They give you bowls and you see what you can scrape from the rest of the passengers. Sorry. We have a segment we call... we have the world's most Catholic floor manager. He's been away for us with a little time. Peter O'Connor, he's back with us. What have you been up to, Pete? Flying out.
I shouldn't be all the time. Hawaii? Yeah, good holidays.
Now, what have you been doing up was the basic question.
Holiday.
Holiday?
Yeah.
You're looking fit as a fiddle.
I'm feeling good.
Hey?
Yeah.
What's in your mouth?
It's a mint.
Hey?
Mm.
I know. Changed, well, good to see you again, Pete. Pete, are we doing viewer faxes now? What are we doing now? What was on the agenda for right now? Does anyone have any view on what we're supposed to be doing right now? Viewer faxes, please. Thank you very much. Dear Steve, love the show except for the thank you. Question. What do you call a mushroom with an 8-inch stalk? A fun guy to be with.
That's from Torsten Beck of Nambour in Queensland. Thank you, Torsten, for the humorous fact.
Dear Steve, there is a stud in my street named Wayne. I presume that's the stud, not the street. There is a stud in my street named Wayne, and I love him. From Lorraine. Oh, yeah, Lorraine, you old thing, you. Dear Steve, the Variety Club held its annual Australian Masters Celebrity Pro-Am Golf Tournament today. The runner-up in the celebrity section was your own Glenn Robbins. Ooh, Glenn. This is from Tim Evans. Tim is a well-known funny man and nice guy. P.S. I won Sweet FA. Read it now. To give you an idea of how well I went, on the first tee I lost 2 balls, and that was in the ball washer. Thanks, Tim. I think what we actually might do, we want to do a show from a viewer's home. So if you'd like us to do a television show from your home, could you either write into us or fax into us? The address is Post Office Box 9907 in your capital city. There. Or fax in on 0369087749 telling us why we should do a show from your house, and we'll do it next week. Believe it or not. Viewer faxes, thank you. Shocking airline, Ethiopian Airlines. The plane I flew on was a Fokker. At least I think that's what he said. If you've ever wondered who the funniest man in the world is, the New York Times described our next guest as just that. Would you please welcome the legendary Victor Borger.
Where's Ron?
He left.
Who are you?
Victor, it is indeed a great pleasure to talk to you. You were indeed a child prodigy.
Not anymore.
What age did you actually start playing the piano?
What did I what?
Play the piano.
Oh, yes, I did.
What age do you actually start playing?
The piano, yes.
Do you play any other instruments apart from the...
Why, do I have to? No. I have never tried, I don't know. It's not one of those things. I mean, do you play piano?
Not recently, no.
Very good. Why do you ask that question in the first place?
Well, it's just a... have you ever offended classical purists with your...
Who?
Classical purists.
I don't even know him.
A lot of people would say that at 82, that probably is an old age to be doing the sort of things that you're doing, and yet you're still going at 100 miles an hour.
I'm doing nothing. I wish I could.
Do you keep fit?
Pardon?
Do you keep fit? Fit.
That's what you said, yeah.
Yeah.
Keep what?
Fit.
Fit? What's that?
That is healthy. Are you keeping healthy
Yes,
these
I'm
days?
keeping fit.
Fit.
And I play piano.
Yes. What are you doing to keep fit these days?
I play the piano.
To keep... Now, you came to Australia, unless our researchers...
I did, otherwise I couldn't have been here, of course.
Actually came to Australia on the QE2.
On what?
The QE2.
Oh, yeah. I wanted the QE1, but it wasn't available. I heard you say you were in Afghanistan, wasn't it?
Ethiopia.
Where?
Ethiopia.
Is that where you were? Oh.
Yeah. It's in Africa.
No, is that where it is? Yeah.
I was...
What else do you know about it?
Pretty much it, really.
I was there also.
Have you been there?
Yeah.
What did you make of it?
I didn't think much, but I mean, at that time I was very upset because we were flying into the country, and we were flying over the ocean on what is it? 27, you know, DC 20.
DC3?
It's 27.
27.
27, yeah. I had to take it because that was the one.
Was the only one that was...
And we were in the late afternoon, almost evening, and the captain came to the microphone and he said that we have a little problem. One engine is, we have feathered one engine number one, but don't worry because we are maintaining our altitude. This is really a fact.
Right.
And we might be late, half hour late getting in. And he said, just don't worry. That was the time, of course, when everybody started worrying. And then everything was all right. Then he came back about a half hour later and say, I'm sorry to tell you that we have another little problem. The engine number 2 is feathered now because there must be something wrong with the fuel. And he said, we are still maintaining our altitude. Don't worry. We are safe. We might be maybe an hour and a half late getting it, of course. So the fellow next to me said, I hope the third engine is okay, otherwise we will stay up here all night.
You in your spare time are quite a well-known boatsman.
Yes. I come off QE2. That's a big boat. That's a
beauty.
Yeah.
See, in your spare, do you have a yacht of your own, or do you
not a yacht?
sail?
I have a boat. Well, I don't like to call it a yacht. It's 400 feet. And 402 feet, my own cargo.
How many people required to sail your boat?
One.
It's not many people.
No, it's not a big boat either.
They're
small feet.
Do you spend much time sailing?
No, I don't have much time to do it, but I spend as much time as I have to do it, and
Where are you actually based?
Pardon?
Where are you based? Where is your... Where do you
sitting right here.
Yep. Where would you call...
Connecticut.
Connecticut.
We live in Connecticut, yeah. When I'm not here, of course.
And how much time of the year would you spend in Connecticut, roughly?
A couple of hours. I don't know. I don't figure it out. I think I would say maybe 3 months of the year spread out over.
And what do you do in your spare time? I mean, we know...
I wind my watch.
Do you have, unless...
Who are you? I said to Ron when he came out, I should use him more often because he's terrific on the desk there.
He did a great job, didn't he?
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
I was very much amused by him as well.
And then I came.
Yeah. You could be good also. You could be good also if you try.
Some of the you have performed with some of the biggest names in the world of showbiz and elsewhere. Frank Sinatra, Bing Crosby. Frank Sinatra, is a singer.
Oh,
Crosby.
Who?
Bing Crosby.
Singer.
Singer. Great memories.
You seem to have them.
We might actually take...
Of course I have great memories. Yes. What else would you like to know? Of course I have great memories of this particular event here, this strange event in which I'm involved right now.
Victor, I thank you for that. And
you're very welcome.
Thank you. We're going to actually take a break, and when we come back, I'd be delighted if you would, because you, being one of the great musicians of the world, I'd appreciate it if you played for us.
Oh, well,
Victor Borger. We're going to take a break. Back after the break with Victor Borger and a performance. Stick around. This is live. Welcome back. This is live, and I'm with the delightful Victor Borger, who actually came out here on the QE2, and I think is here. If I think, Victor, would it be too much if I asked you to play for us?
Yes.
Okay, thanks very much. Yeah, we should go. Would you want us to come over? Yes.
Piano?
Yeah, the piano.
Oh.
Don't get going. Sorry.
Very fine piano. Very small. Only play it with one hand.
Yeah.
What would you like me to play?
What would you like to play?
Nothing.
Fleur-de-lis?
The what?
Fleur-de-lis.
Oh, that one. Do you know that one?
No, I don't.
Neither do I. Let me see now. Oh, I often had so many requests, you know. Clair de Lune.
Yeah.
Do you know that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you like to hear Clair de Lune? Okay. I wish I knew it. It begins up here. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3. Doesn't sound right. It isn't over yet. Doesn't sound right. Just 1 second. Would you excuse me?
Sure.
Will you help me pushing the piano?
Oh, which?
Look, just push it a little. Thank you. Play something else. This takes too long. I'm going to play. Can you get your hands up? Thank you. Just want to see what happened here a bit. I can't fold this thing again. Can you fold it? I'm going to play a little of the Moonlight Sinatra. Sinatra. Yamaha. Do you speak Japanese? Do you understand?
No.
You don't? I speak a little Japanese, and this is very interesting. How so many Japanese people here in Australia. I learned to speak. I don't know if you're interested in this, but sit down. I learned to speak Japanese with a wonderful method with which you can learn anything while sleeping. Under the pillow in your bed, you put a cassette player, and then you insert a cassette on which must be what you wish to learn, of course. In my case, it was lessons in the Japanese language. And you run it every night until, this is really the fact, I know you won't believe it, but this is the fact. You run it every night until you have absorbed subconsciously what is on the tape. It's as simple as that. And it may take weeks or months, but, and I don't speak it perfectly well, but I
what can you say?
Well, I don't have to say anything, but I can speak it. The trouble is I can only speak it when I'm sound asleep. Yeah. I can say Toyota, things like that. I'm going to play, this will take a long time, it'll take about 45 minutes. Do we have 45 minutes?
No, we've got about 1 minute. Is there anything you can play in a minute?
I can play, in a half a minute, I can play the minute waltz with one hand.
Well, I think we have to... The remarkable Victor Borger, the minute waltz in half a minute.
This is the Moonlight Sinatra. Well, anyway, time is up. I'm sorry.
The audience at home got it. It's really phenomenal. Thanks, Victor. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much. More after the break. Hi, Jen.
I'm fantastic.
Thank
How
you.
are you?
I'm fit as a fiddle, and thanks so much for dinner on Saturday night.
That's
It
quite
was
all right.
delightful.
Would you like to give back the silverware? Now listen, was Ethiopian Airways as bad as you make out?
Yes.
Come on.
No, they were. They were shocking.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they had the world's biggest sick bags, and they were already half full.
I'm sorry I asked.
No, you shouldn't have
sorry
asked
I
that.
asked.
It was not dissimilar to your dinner party. No, that was delightful. It really was. Did you cook that spaghetti?
Of course.
Well, how come every time you went into the kitchen you closed the door? Why did you do that?
So I didn't make too much of a noise.
Rubbish. And why were you in there for 3/4 of an hour before you brought the food
I
out?
was cooking.
Oh, yeah.
That's the way it usually goes.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, good show tonight. I thought your guests were fantastic.
Aren't they? Victor Borger and Ronnie Corbett, the most delightful guys. Listen, we're going to take a break. We'll be back after the break with the weather and a bit of a chat. Stick around. This is live. Jen just disclosed the reason she was locked in the kitchen for half an hour was that they've got those hard door handles and she had butter on her hands and she couldn't get it to turn. She's stuck in her own bloody kitchen. You nincompoop.
Thanks, Steve.
Have you got any headlines for tomorrow, please, Jen?
A quick look at the Sydney Morning Herald. They have a rather disturbing story tomorrow from a New South Wales Ombudsman report which claims ambulance services are putting Aborigines' lives at risk by refusing to go to their communities or transfer them between hospitals. So a rather disturbing story.
It's an appalling state of affairs. We've got a big show tomorrow night, Jim. We've got Brian Bury Slow Club, and we're going live to England. Brian Bury going to talk about life in general now that he's left the National 9 network and the circumstances. And you're a nice bloke, Brian. The weather is standby weather. Tomorrow is, that's what the weather looks like. There you go. Memorise it and enjoy it tomorrow. Thanks for being with us, Australia. We'll see you tomorrow with Brian. Thanks to our guests tonight, Ronnie Corbett and Victor Borger. We'll see you tomorrow.
This program was brought to you by the Holden Ute.